Here's the most confusing thing avoidants do after the breakup, and I'll explain why. You know, everyone who reaches out to me to talk to me, I notice this same pattern when they have avoidant ex-partners. They're always trying to find meaning in this and meaning in that, and falling for the little breadcrumbs that they do, and they kind of become like obsessive with finding the meaning in these things, and just trying to latch on in a new unhealthy way. And what it is with a lot of these people is that after the breakups, after the distance, they're always wondering, like, do I still matter? Do I still matter? Do I still matter? That's why a lot of times, these people that have reached out to me have said that they pull away, and the avoidant or whatever signals some kind of longing, and as soon as they reach out, they go cold again. They don't know what they want, and they are constantly in this state of you giving them almost like an ick when you get close to them, and then them feeling that abandonment wound get triggered when you say, all right, fuck this shit, I'm done with this, I've had enough. And I can't tell you the amount of people that reach out to me and want to overanalyze the smallest details and create these mountainous stories in their head about, I saw on their story they had a blue cheesecake and they know that blue is my favorite color. So I'm just wondering, like, does this mean that they want to have a baby shower with me and have a son one day? Like, the mental gymnastics that these people are in, because they get sucked into that world of trying to decode all the confusion that comes with somebody who doesn't even know what the fuck they want in the first place. They don't know what love is. They think love is the honeymoon stage, and that's why as soon as the honeymoon stage is over and it's the real work begins, the masks exposed, you get the confusing behavior that they do. Them being really sweet and affectionate or caring or whatever it might be, that's only because things haven't gotten real yet. Once they know that you're committed and you lean forward, that's when they start doubting everything. That's when they start thinking, wait a minute, I'm not sure about this. Do I really feel about this? And they start that whole washing machine whirlpool of hot and cold and push and pull. And you gotta really be careful not to get sucked into this, because it does create a reinforcement loop, and their interactions almost become like a slot machine, and that's why it's really hard for a lot of people I notice that reach out to me to move on, because they're basically detoxing from this dopamine withdrawal cycle that the other person has been in charge of, in control of. And they're not really pulling away and blocking and going through that initial 30 days of letting your body like readapt to new sources of pleasure and dopamine. And you probably need, depending on how serious it was and how much you were invested, how long it was, it might take you about I'd say like 3 to 6 months to really start to feel like, okay, like there are times where I probably do think about this person and miss this person and wonder about this person, but the worst days are definitely over. That withdrawal, like where you're physically sick, where you don't feel like eating, you don't sleep well, all that kind of nervous system disruption. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what it is. It's your nervous system being used to this person as a source of oxytocin and dopamine, and now they're not there, and your nervous system is kind of in a stress response, trying to adjust to new sources. And that's the main thing. You want to have sources that kind of stimulate you. You have to take and move forward with them, and understand that they are taking that confusion and trying to search for a next honeymoon phase that's going to last forever, that's not going to challenge their own dysfunction. And when that honeymoon phase is over and the real stuff happens, they come back and to see if you mattered. And I think if you look into it too much, you will restart your healing process, because you're going to realize that they're not going to come at you with accountability and truth and, you know, owning up. Instead, they'll probably run away. Once they realize that you still care and you're still willing to invest, then they do the pull off again things. And you know, that's kind of the end of the video. I guess I'll stop it from there. Hope you guys got the point of it. If you guys are having trouble letting go, detoxing, detaching, and you really want some help, send me a message. If you guys are going through maybe some kind of power dynamics that aren't working in your favor, and you kind of want some techniques and strategies to change that power dynamic, reach out to me. If you guys want me to act as a human chat GPT to analyze things that really don't matter, and to, you know, decode stuff that your kind of overly anxious, dysregulated self is obsessed with, you know, like, you guys need to go find one of those coaches that are going to teach you how to stop being a stalker, and how to stop, you know, abusing yourself. Because a lot of people reach out with this kind of stuff, and it's like, yo, the least of your problems is getting your ex back. That's like the least of your problems. You guys are going down a road that's very, very, very dark, and you guys will run into forced reality one day, when all these scenarios and stories that you've built in your head come crashing down, when you see that they've moved on, they're with somebody new, and you have to start the healing process much later than you should have. So guys, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Peace.